Hey guys, doing this, doing this live stream, so that'll be fun. Let's make sure we got everything. We got our good old pencil, one of them. We got our kneaded eraser in case we're using this paper for the actual cover. Then we're gonna do this little piece of paper right here for concept stuff. So that'll be cool. Trying to figure out what sort of look I want for this, more or less, because I want it to be a really dope cover. I mean, I could even honestly do a like comic page either or, but I'm about to do a little bit more study before I finally start on that, and I will record a video for that, so that'll be fun. In terms of like studying styles and whatnot, and so on and so forth, so that'll be cool. But actually, let me get a new one, a different piece of paper. And if you're wondering, it's just watercolor paper basically. So if your stuff falls back, don't worry about it. Just some stuff on the side of my desk. It really doesn't even need to be there like that. But okay, this is new paper, so that's good. New watercolor paper. That was just a test sheet for the sort of style I went for with my first cover, which was this. That's what I did for a practice as my cover. Tell me what y'all think about that. What's up? What's up, Nate? You doing? Everything you can. Bro, how you still up? But yeah, I'm about to figure this out. Cause give me a second. Oh, y'all out here joining the live stream. That's cool. Thanks for doing that. You ain't have to like that, to be honest. So, yeah, this is my other cover that I did. Tell me what y'all think about that. It'd be great to know, too. Actually, yeah, I'll just put this away for now. And I'll start on concept on this little piece of paper instead. Just so y'all can see, like, more or less. Tell me what y'all think about that right now. And then while I'm doing the concept for this. So, give me a second. Hope y'all can see everything that I'm doing. What's up, Nate? Yeah, let me know if y'all can hear me. That'd be greatly appreciated if you can. Just let me know in comments. But yeah. So what I'm trying to do with this series is, overall, I'm trying to make it interesting, character develop, tons of character development, be story driven, because nowadays we got like tons of shows and they're mostly like character driven or story driven, but I want it to be a mixture of both. Like whatever the character does affect the story, obviously. So I would have something like that more or less to a certain extent. So that's what I'm thinking about personally. I don't know what you guys think about that, but let me know in the comments if you guys want, if you guys are still on the live stream. So we do 2 concepts. Yeah, just let me know what y'all think. So I'm just draw these 2 right here. I got tons of photo references. So it's cool. definitely don't want your stuff to be like super boring or anything either. That's another thing. You want it to be character driven, but also you don't want it to. I don't really want it to look like every other comic, to be honest. Because to be honest, I want it to look unique. You know, developed tons of story, tons of character. More or less, I want it to have like life breathed into the story. I don't want it to be super generic. Because to be honest, like that stuff's cool, whatever. But like, I'm not really into that. Like, I'm not into the stories where it's like, oh yeah, this guy just gets powerful from getting it before. Like, no, I want there to actually be repercussions for the sort of stuff that this character does, more or less. Because I'm sick of sort of that stuff in TV shows and anime and whatnot. Like, for instance, like in My Hero Academia, you know how characters get in the fights, that sort of stuff. Whether you read the manga or watch the anime and sub or dub, I could care less. But basically, for instance, like characters get in the fights or whatever, and that affects what happens to them later on too. It's not just like, oh, they get into a fight, you know, they beat the bad guy, and that is what it is. Like, no, they actually have developed arcs with characters who affect the story, whether they be heroes or villains. Or in this case, antagonists or protagonists. Which is something I want to do with my story for my characters. Because I don't want myself to be super bland and super typical. I want it to be, I want it to inspire people to do more interesting stories and whatnot. I'm sick of the same thing, if I'm being honest. I mean, yeah, this character's going to have to deal with trials and tribulations as every other character does in storytelling, but like, it's going to be different in its own way. It's going to be more or less the way that I do it too. Because I hate when sort of like, oh yeah, we're going to make it super character focused. Like, forget any of the other stuff that really matters. Like, you know, making a character's backstory is super interesting. Not even just their backstories, like how they interact with each other. Even though they might have similar ideas, more or less, but, you know, in depth, they're like different, totally different, which is what they're supposed to be. Like, their core character is different instead of just the surface level. Because to be honest with you, like, I honestly don't like it when they try to make it so like, oh yeah, this character is this way because of, you know, because of plot or whatever. No, they should be the way they are because that's who the character basically is, and I don't really want my characters to be changed because of the story. I want their, you know, reasoning and stuff to be changed because of the story in a way that it's like, it makes them, you know, develop in a sense of, you know, like how in real life, you know, your situations affect how you're gonna develop specific traits or characteristics as a person overall. I don't want it to be just like, okay, you're just there and, you know, you're basically just there to be there. I honestly think it's stupid. But I hope you guys get what I'm saying though. But actually, let me erase this one. This is just basically going to be something super kind of basic, more or less. Because this is basically what I want for this concept. So we're going to have this up here. Yep, so we're going to have that right there. Basically, this will be the torso. But Okay, nope, I know exactly what I'm gonna do. Because I want it to be super interesting. So we're gonna do it like something like this, more or less. Yeah, whatever I darken is basically just gonna be there for more or less the sort of look I want to have. Okay, there goes that. He's probably gonna be wearing a hood or something, so let's just change that a little bit. Because my character wears a hood. Because we're basically gonna want it to be just like him, more or less, but something interesting. Actually, we could turn it a little bit to the side if you really want to. Okay, goes that. Okay. Okay. That. We're gonna have something super crazy at the bottom too, though. We don't want it to be just one thing and that's it. We want it to actually be interesting. So, yep. There we go. Yeah, this makes sense. Yep. There we go. Break this stuff in real quick. Actually, let me start erasing some of this. This does not look right. But we can have the other hand, kind of more or less. So this hand's gonna have powers going off. And this could be like one sort of thing. So it'll basically be shot kind of like a comic book panels, because I think that's really dope. And this will be sort of like hands come. Oh yeah, that's actually a dope idea. Yeah, I'm thinking about, I don't know how to draw two more out. This will be the concept basically. So his hand out is also gonna have like his powers going off. I don't know how I'm gonna do it though, because that'll be more or less the way I'm gonna stylize it and so on and so forth. So we're gonna have the thumb going out here, hands going out here, but like individually. So 2, 3, 4. We're gonna wanna. This has to be longer, actually a little bit. But I think you guys get what I'm going at more or less for that part. And okay, 2, 4. Okay, there goes that part. So we're gonna try to balance it out. So man, it seems like everybody's trying to join my life for some reason right now. Weirdly enough. Okay, give me a second. Let's move it back to place. Trying to make sure that you guys can actually see what I'm doing, but also not like. I'm gonna jump into this drawing right here real quick. So basically, this is my first cover variant that I have up here. I need to turn off the glare or something for that. Yep. Yeah, you know what? I just have the glare on, don't matter. You guys can basically see what it is. But yeah, I'm just doing something for a second cover. Like something, I'm trying to do something super interesting. Not super boring either. I'm trying to have it like actually unique in its own way. But also like super cool. I don't want it to be basic. So we're gonna basically have character here, main character here. Shows off abilities. There's that. We're gonna do it over here. And then what else are we gonna have? Yeah, so instead of it just being that, we could actually, or let's do it in the shapes, because that's what we really want. And then I could actually do it like this, sort of. I'm trying to figure out what shape I could have it as. I could have it as a ninja star or something. That'd be dope, actually, because he is a ninja, so that makes sense. That'd be, wait, we can do it as a kunai. That would be dope. A kunai is the equivalent of a throwing knife for you guys who don't know. But basically, we can shape this like a ninja weapon, so. Okay, so shape like Japanese weapon. Then we have either characters, break off to the side, something crazy like that. Little pieces of drawings or whatever. Just draw up little side sections. I mean, this might be a lot of work too. I don't know though. I mean, it obviously might be a lot of work, but it's no biggie. It's like super detailed stuff. Is my sort of thing, anyways. So basically, shows abilities, main cover, sorry, main character, the main character. But, you know, this is basically going to be his, you know, citizen look, and this is going to be him with his powers and stuff. So that'd be cool. That we can have, you know, shows abilities, Japanese weapon sort of thing for the main part, because he's a ninja, so that'd be cool. You see what I could put. If the main cover's got to be over here, we could probably put it like somewhere over here. Move this down. Or try to. Put the title somewhere around here. Shows either characters or panels. Yo, shows like the characters or panels for series. So whatever I want to draw for that, it'll more than likely be in the series. Because I think that's really dope. I don't know what you guys think, but that seems pretty dope to me. Like, if I were to do, depending on how long I do, it's like number 10 issue, something like that. Like, basically, this is where I'll have enough. But, or just even if I want to do this now and just show off the characters, basically, for everybody to get a sense, sort of, what I want to do. The series. So that's the first concept right here that I have. So basically, we have the main character without his costume, but, you know, just hooded on and stuff. We have him with his costume. Now, his little fragments over here will be. His little fragments over here will be stuff from the series, that sort of stuff. Some actually interesting. Or even then just really cool stuff. Whatever we want to add there, we can. And then the other one, we can have it more like a traditional anime sort of stuff where it just shows off all the characters. We could do something like that too, to be honest. Wouldn't make a difference to me. Because for me, I want something that actually looks attention grabbing instead of just looks like, oh, okay, it looks cool enough. It looks like everything else. So, like, I want it to actually look sick. I'll look through my archive of images for references and stuff. Okay, more or less something like this with the Ninja Turtles, kind of. You see what I'm saying? So there's that. Stuff like that, basically, where it's like interesting enough that you actually would want to read it or watch. You know, the anime, if I were to do an anime or whatever TV show, that sort of stuff, basically. Basically, where it's captivating to the eye, which is what you always want to do as an artist, because you don't want it to look super boring or dope. You want it to be dynamic. Because if it's not dynamic, people aren't going to be like, oh, this is super interesting, or the concept does look super dope. They're gonna be like, oh, okay, it was cool, whatever, but, you know, it's stuff I could be doing that's way different and better off. Spending my time on this would be basically useless. That's stuff like that. You actually want to make it interesting. So stuff like that overall. Basically, you want to just, your goal is to make it as interesting as you can in your own way, but make it unique too. Because for me, I'm using references, but I'm not trying to make it like I'm copying their stuff 100%. Like, I'm referencing Nicholas Draper Ivory and a few other artists, actually. Like Todd McFarlane, Jim Lee, Gabriel Del Otto, which is a few of my greatest inspirations, in my opinion. Alex Ross. There's so many artists that I follow, I couldn't name all of them. Because they're all so great in their own way. And I'm trying to get to that extent, to that level, if I'm being honest with you all. You guys probably think my art's like, wow, it's like really good. I think it's like, you know, I like where it's at, but in terms of concepts and stuff, I'm really trying to do like super interesting, detailed, intricate stuff. Instead of just like basic stuff, because I was like, yeah. I mean, I could even do it as a comic, to be honest, for just like concepts that I have. I could make those in the comics, and I might actually do that with certain characters. I mean, even then, the characters that I have now, I can change them later on because they're not actually in the story yet, and people aren't reading that yet. But even if I am, I could still change them because guess what? Characters change, time changes, you know, the concept of the characters change, the story changes, or you can do like alternate reality where it doesn't affect the story, like how Marvel, DC, or Image, and Dark Horse is doing and stuff like that, and even indie comic companies and stuff, which is really dope. That's the thing I love about storytelling in general. You can have it so that it's like a really good story, really intricate, you know, really in depth, has deep philosophical, you know, meaning behind the actual substance versus, you know, just showmanship. So basically, instead of just looking really cool, it actually has something that people would actually want to read about and more or less try to figure out what's the meaning behind stuff, which is really dope to me when people do that, especially like in movies and TV shows and video games and stuff like that. I think that's really dope. So that was my first concept. We're gonna figure out what I'm gonna do for my second one. And I'm gonna try to make it not like this. I'm gonna try to actually make it look super interesting. So there's that. And I'll probably start a big sketch in that live stream, or I might just do these two sketches and then try to figure it out from there. And when I start actually drawing it and putting detail and stuff and have it proportionally correct, I'll probably live stream that. Because this is basically just a rough phases for that, if I'm being 100% honest, which it is. Nothing like super. You guys might think this is boring, to be honest, but I think it's really helpful. Because I haven't drawn in a while since I've done this piece. If you guys are really curious to see what it looks like, for those who haven't seen it, or who don't follow me on Instagram or whatnot, or who haven't just seen me drawing in general. So, I'm going to zoom out with this. But yeah, I really enjoyed doing this piece. Because, like, a lot of people are like, oh yeah, this gives me a, you know, noir feel, you know, gritty, sort of supernatural sort of thing, more or less. That's really what I'm going for. Some people are like, oh yeah, you know, it looks like a feudal Japan sort of drawing. I was like, I can see where where you're saying that. In terms of like this character, the sort of atmosphere that it has. Like, I want the series to be dark. You know, I want this character to reflect me in certain aspects because this character is based on me, more or less in certain ways. But it's like, basically my idea of this is more or less, you know, sorry, it's like 2 o'clock in the morning, but basically my idea for this series is, you know, what would it be like if an average person got abilities in a sort of societal aspect where, you know, kind of like how I view it, where everything is more or less, you know, not even that distant life isn't up to you, and you have less chance to do with what you can than, say, you just obtaining something, not even just like, you know, for dreams goals or whatever, just obtaining something to which you can either, you know, use for your own personal gain, that sort of stuff, which is, to be honest, I think it's pretty, you know, pretty lame in my own way. Or, you know, use what you're given and try to develop your skills or whatever, that sort of stuff, you know, in what you do, but to benefit others and to also use what you have to help others instead of just helping yourself. Like, for instance, let's say you were born a billionaire, right? No, actually, let's not say that. Let's say you were born in let's just say that. Let's say you were born in a family as a billionaire or whatever, right? There's a lot of people who do investments with all this money, you know, that sort of stuff to control people. in society. You know, people fall for it for some reason, that sort of stuff. I'm also probably going to talk about that in this series too. And I'll give, basically the series will give my thoughts on that. But more or less, you know, what would it be like to be a billionaire for a day? What, basically the equivalent of what would it be like to have your whole perspective change because something happens, more or less. Like, say for instance, this person's a billionaire, you know, for some reason loses like tons of stuff, tons of money, whatever. Let's say bank account gone, that sort of stuff. Basically stuff like that. Like, do you think he would have the same drive, more or less, had he been born with that? Or would he actually, like, basically like, nah, I already know what it's like, so I don't want to go back to it, that sort of thing. More or less figuring out his own path into what he's been given, which I think is very interesting. I think a lot of stories should tell more or less. Because to be honest, the character was like, oh yeah, they're born with powers. It's like, that's cool and all, but like, you know, and then they have some characters where they, you know, get the powers. Some people without powers, you know, like, how does it affect these characters that are so iconic to us psychologically, you know, in a sort of mental state, rather than it just being, okay, cool, I got powers so I can do whatever I want now. Like, I'm pretty sure there's limitations. Just because you've been given something doesn't mean there aren't consequences. Because more than likely there is. There's always going to be consequences when you're given something. Like, for instance, say someone drops a briefcase in the street, $1 billion in it, right? Now, you could either, you know, if you're a random person that finds it, you could either give it back to them or take it. But it's like, you know, that sort of thing. How would it affect them? And let's say that's the only money that they had, but they dropped, you know, it. You can say, oh yeah, you know, it was their fault. It's stupid. It's like, you know, people do stuff all the time though. But like, even then, like, more in the sense of more or less, how does your morality affect your decision making, and how does that affect others? And how does that affect you as a person and you as, you know, your character, your sense of judgment and how you do things, more or less, instead of just, okay, you know, I can just do this just because. Because when you think you can just do stuff just because, that's realistically not how life works. You should more or less, instead of just thinking just to do stuff just to do it, is what I think. You should more or less think about how does it affect others in the sense of whatever situation, you know, that you may put yourself in. Because, you know, you could either be born or rich in terms of wealth or mentality, morality, that sort of stuff. Or you could be born to die rich. And basically leaving a legacy to others too. Not even just your kids or whatever, just the world. Which is something interesting to me, because it's like, excuse me, we hear about all these celebrities, you know, how they got all this stuff. It's like, okay, cool, we support them, whatever. And it's like, you know, some of them didn't grow up rich, that sort of thing. Some of them did. Some of them were born rich. You know, how does that affect them? You know, what is their sort of morality on the subject matter of life and that sort of stuff, and those who have experienced life longer than us and those who haven't. It's very interesting because life is never really a one-track answer. You get multiple answers in the way that you, I guess, more or less figure it out for yourself is by experiencing it, going through life, you know, talking to people, asking questions, you know, try to do what you can, try to do the best that you can, and so on and so forth, instead of just like, okay, like, I'm just going to do what everybody else does. Like, you know, we all consider ourselves, well, me at least, I consider myself an individual. And some of those who does stuff that I would disagree with would still consider themselves an individual, yet they may or may not follow a crowd. So it's like, why do they follow a crowd? Why are they, you know, like, why are people the way that they are in certain aspects? What is it? Just their adolescence, growing up in the sort of environment that they had when they were younger. How does that affect them? But also, how does them experiencing life as well affect them too? Because me and my other brother were talking about it a few years ago. Like, I was like, I basically grew up as an adolescent in a middle class household. Always had food in my fridge and all this, right? That sort of stuff. I lived a good life so far. If I'm being honest, it's a great life. I really appreciate the way the life has had me for upbringing. And sadly, there are people misfortunate about that, who are misfortunate to get the raw end of the stick. But it's like, is it just the way that you're brought up, basically molded into the person that you are, or is it that, you as an individual, yeah, that does affect it. But even then, does you as an individual subconsciously, because we all have our own thoughts to a certain extent, does it just depend on how your parents raise you, if you consider yourself having parents in terms of like giving you, guidance and helping out and stuff? Because even then, there's people who, have lived with both parents essentially as a kid to teenager, that sort of thing. And when they became an adult, they were the total opposite. They could be the total opposite of what their parents, raised them to be, and so on and so forth. Like, why do you think that is, more or less? And I also want to get into that too into this series. So, yeah, I know it sounds like I'm talking a lot, but I just really think about this stuff, and I think it's very interesting. And I want to talk about this sort of stuff in my story, because it's like, there's not a lot of media that has that as a sort of focus of the story, but it has it as a backdrop, and it's not as interesting because they all usually do it the same, and sort of like, oh, we're going to gloss over it, or we're going to make it seem like it's a sad story. Like, look, not everybody's lifestyle is considered, a happy one. Even if you're born rich, there's reason for people being rich that might not be the, best of reasons why. Like, for instance, you could be in a gang or whatever, and then your parent, your dad could be in the gang or whatever, and then it's like, you're rich. But it's like, you don't know how they inherited that money until they actually tell you, or so on and so forth. Stuff like that, though. And, you can be like, man, I enjoyed my whole life, but it's like, but at what cost? How did it affect others? Depending if you actually have sympathy. Depending on if you were not only raised with that, but if you actually consider and question things in your life, or just not even that, just question how things work and why do they work, and, just more or less try to get answers to things that can be answered in certain aspects. Because not everything in life could be answered. Let's be honest here. Some things are up to fate. Not that I agree with that. But some things are up to, overall. This is what I'm trying to say. Some things are up to things that are beyond this. That's what I'm really just saying. And, some things we have control over. But it's like, I think it's funny. My mom was like, you don't have control over who you're born to. It's like, that's true. But, there's people who can decide to not have kids, and there's people who can't have kids at all. Where it's like, either or. It's not like you can adopt kids. It's not like you can't, But even then, like, you can mold, the adolescent mind into whatever you want if you have them as yours, more or less, regardless if they're biologically yours or not yours at all, depending on what they went through as themselves. Because that's another thing, because, they might have never known their parents, and they still end up just like their parents without ever meeting them once, which is crazy to me, because it's like, and they probably just grew up by themselves, essentially, and tried to have to figure out life on their own, which is something insane to me, because it's like, the fact that people can do that is really crazy to me. But I mean, survival to the fittest, 100% honesty. So there is that. And yeah, that's essentially what I want to go over. Sorry, that's essentially what I want to go over in this series. And here goes second cover. But I also want to go over, how technology affects us, that sort of thing. I want to go over morality, basically, the physical aspect of humanity, the mental aspect of humanity, like spirituality and stuff. How does that affect everybody, that sort of thing. Also like technology too, because I think the technology has really impacted us as humans. Like, there's so much to it that I can get into that it would be like a two-hour live stream, let alone. But yeah, I'm just gonna try to continue this and try to get this second sketch done, and that might be it because I've been talking a lot. I'm sorry about that, guys, but I just think it's really important to talk about this stuff, so I can also save it as a log for my concepts and stuff that I want to talk about in my series. So there's that. Trying to figure out something. Oh yeah, I know. I'm trying to figure out. So we already have a front-facing view. We can do a side-facing view now. Actually, now that I think about it. Or we can even have just them standing or whatever. So let's try to split this into 3 concepts instead of 2. Like, we could have something like really dope. Don't worry, I just changed the lighting on my stuff. That's really about it. But we could just have them like standing in a really dope perspective, something cool like that. Like, basically, they'd be standing here. Actually, their head would be smaller because depending on the perspective, their body would be bigger because you want to get a bigger perspective. So, let me erase this real quick. What I needed to erase will be fine. And actually, too. I know I just had it around here, too. That don't make any sense. Where'd it go? No, I can just erase it with the... No, yep, there it is. My bad. Kind of getting tired, to be honest with you guys. But it is what it is. So, Hmm. Yep. You can basically have something like that. Basically, my character is standing over here. Cityscape. If he really want to. I think I draw a bit too many of those, but it makes sense if he's in the city. You know, there's not a lot of characters don't fight in the city or whatever. We could actually have that as a backdrop, or it could be like somewhere really cool. Place with skeletons, whatever, like a graveyard in the part of the city, because they usually be having those sometimes. So there's that. Something like that, basically. Kind of like anywhere I sort of look. Let me zoom into this. Y'all can actually see what's going on for that one. Basically something like where my character is just standing, that sort of stuff. It's like dark and it's, yeah, stuff like that though. I'm trying to figure out for the other one. Something like a really, really noir sort of look. Basically. And then I could do just another action piece if I really want to. Excuse me. So this will basically show these buildings. So buildings are here. However we want to draw them, basically. This is to show that they're buildings. So basically we're going to have buildings here. Sort of mist. Something like really cool. If we really want to though. Depending what sort of look we want to go for too. We can have the actual, you know, my character face it backwards. Yeah, I know. You know what? We're gonna add a fourth one. So it's gonna be something super small. It's probably gonna be similar to the first one, to be honest with you guys. Let me grab that. Sorry about that, FL. But what? Okay, we gotta place this correctly now. Come on. Come on. Stop. Oh, okay. I figured out why it fell. But okay. Whatever design we want to have for the character, we can have that. Yep, we can have it like this. Character actually, you know. We have it like super sharp, shoulders here. So it'll be something more or less to look at, really cool. Right here. Something like this, basically. Okay, so we can basically have this character here, main character. Then we can have like, we could sort of do a like drawing of the actual suit on top if we really want to. So this is just going to be another concept, but we're going to probably have it like the other one though, to be honest with you. We can sort of, I was going to say short of for some reason, but we can basically represent, is going to be fighting supernatural stuff, you know, kind of hands coming out. Sort of demons or something like that, because he's basically going to be fighting demons and stuff, so that'll be cool. But he's going to be a normal human, so it's like, you know, he's going to be shocked about all this, so this was basically going to be his first time fighting, let alone, like, fighting demons and stuff, so that'll be cool. You have, like, sort of hands coming out if you really want to. Stuff like that, basically, like demons if you really want to. So that'll be cool. So, demon hands. No, demon / monster hands, actually, because you can also fight monsters, so too. Then we're going to have, that's all, one can take a shot. You can have his powers go off. That'd be cool. So, then we can have maybe different panels. So, panel. So, panels of other main characters and side characters, basically, in this, and here. So, about Or even then we could just do what we did here too, to be honest. So basically, there goes one, there goes another one, there goes this one. And then, yep. And then what you can say, oh, there's too much, there's too much city stuff. Like, look, he fights in the city. Well, he lives in the city, actually. He doesn't fight in the city. Because, he doesn't want to cause casualties. But he may have to at a few points, to be honest with you. Because that's usually how stuff goes down. And he's like, that's, stuff like that. Because you ever know superheroes fight in cities and it just somehow ends up perfectly fine that right after. Like nothing really happened. There's no consequences. I kind of hate that too. Regardless of what superhero it is, like whether it be Superman, Spider-Man, Batman, even here, because that even happens too, to be honest with you, a few times. Because it affects not only Gotham, but like probably Metropolis and stuff too. And yeah, you can't just solve those problems with, oh yeah, I'm rich and I'm Bruce Wayne. Stuff like that, basically. Which is good that some writers don't do that. Just what I hate if the writers do, basically just have him solve money with his problem with money, or that he's Batman. Like sometimes him being Bruce Wayne is just as useful as him being Batman. To a certain extent. Actually, since the title's gonna go here, we can even, if I really wanted to, I could add the title digitally in the post or whatever, if I really want to. But it would basically mean the same thing. So, because it's the title, we're gonna have to add that over here too for this concept too. That the title would be somewhere either here, or we can actually add it on the side like a sidebar. That'd be dope. Yeah, because people usually only look up at the front.